I just don't want to make this video, but I have to. My boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, DOG, and I, we broke up this past week. And it's hard. It's really hard. I've been not doing well for a while now, which I'll get into later in the video, but it's hard. I have to make this video at some point because otherwise I get the question all the time of how's DOG doing? How's your boyfriend? And I don't want to constantly be reminded of that all the time. So I have to put it out there. That's part of being a content creator. I have to share a part of myself to you guys, and this is the not so great part. It's been very difficult to break up with him because I was still in love with him, and I believe he was still in love with me. But some things just don't work out. Some couples, despite the love being there, which, my God, love is so important, other aspects just don't end up working out. And it's really hard to admit to yourself, and it's really hard to break things off, especially when you know how much it's going to hurt the other person. Because me hurting them hurts me. I don't want to see people hurt like that. It kills me inside. I very much still care about him. I would not talk poorly of him. I think he's great. I think he's wonderful, and he deserves someone great. And without going into any details, because quite frankly, details aren't really your business, but it just didn't work out between us. We had different wants from one another, and I had wants that I didn't realize before living with a person for almost 2 years. It's crazy how much I learned being in a relationship that serious, where you live with someone every day. You wake up with them almost every day in your bed. It is such a different experience because I had to learn to be a lot less selfish. I had to learn that I couldn't just focus on myself anymore. I had to focus on somebody else. And that's extra hard when I have my own issues with anxiety and depression, to also have to focus on another person, and another person that wasn't quite meshing with me. I'm thankful for the experience. I've learned a lot. I don't regret it at all, but this past week, we did break it off, and it's been hard. It is really hard coming home and seeing my guest bedroom empty, and there's a lot I'll miss. A lot I'll miss about him. It's really weird to, imagine a life without them in it. But in the long run, I do believe it is best for both of us. And it's really hard, guys. This isn't a fun video, and I'm sorry, because I do want to make fun videos, and I want to entertain people. And I want to get your mind off the world a bit. But this week's just not the week. About 3 weeks ago, I got COVID, and that was miserable. About a week and a half prior to that, the first housemate got COVID. Then my then boyfriend got COVID and went to the ER because he was throwing up so much. And then our other housemate got COVID, and then me, I was last. So for that week and a half, I was constantly anxious because I was just trying to take care of people, but also I knew it was a ticking time bomb before I got it myself, and I was so scared of how bad it would be. It was really miserable. I suffered a lot, and unfortunately, after 2 weeks of initially getting COVID, my chest wasn't feeling right. So I went to the doctor, and it turns out I had a chest infection. It was sort of validating because I knew there was something wrong, and I wasn't being dramatic. There was something wrong post-COVID. So I got on antibiotics and steroids, and that seems to have cleared up the issue. But the lingering COVID symptoms really sucked. I was really depressed, stressed, and dealing with a lot. And then Anthrocon rolled around. And the first day of Anthrocon, while DOG was at home, we broke up. And I know it seems like, how could you break up when you're not home? How could you do it over the phone after 2 years? Blah, blah, blah. I know how it seems from an outsider's perspective, but there was just a lot of factors that went into it that you can't understand, so don't presume to understand. But that is why during Anthrocon I had moments where I just hyperventilated and cried in the room and stuff, but I tried to keep it together. I tried to compartmentalize those feelings. But the moment I walked home and walked into my door, I couldn't hold it in, and yeah, it's a lot, guys. I know I'll be okay going forward, and I absolutely hope that DOG has the best possible life going forward. I want the absolute best for him, and I'm going to continue to make videos every week, and I'm going to be tweeting on my other accounts, and I'm going to be at least projecting that things are all okay, you know what I mean? And trying to project some semblance of normalcy, because it's a little form of escapism, but I'll be hurting for a while. I don't need people to reach out to me and ask me if I need someone to talk to, etc., etc. I have a close group of friends. I don't need random people asking, I know you mean well, I don't need that. I don't want people asking me how I am. It's not a good question, but I know I'll be okay in time. I know I'll get through this. It just sucks. And I don't envy anybody else who has to break up with someone while they're still in love, because it's one of the hardest things you will ever do in your life. Yeah, I guess separate from that, Anthrocon, the good parts, I really did enjoy it. I met some cool people. I had fun, bought a lot of stuff because, depression spending. And I'll be going to IFC in like a month and a half, 2 months. So there's that. Next week's video won't be so depressing, I promise. And I thank all you guys for sticking with me and being patient while I was sick and depressed, because a lot of people say, why don't you just not make videos for a bit? But what you have to understand is this is my job. You can't just not go to your job anymore if you have any other career and expect to just keep getting paid. YouTube is my job. I take it seriously. Patreon support literally helps me exist and live. I need Patreon support, and if I'm not making videos, I feel a horrible guilt, because there are still people pledging money to me, and I need to keep creating, I need to keep making videos, because it is my job, it is how I pay my bills. I do like it. Sometimes I don't like it, let's be honest, but who doesn't not enjoy aspects of their job? But I have to keep making videos. I will keep making videos because I need the Patreon support. This is my job, this is a creative outlet, and I'm not going to stop. A lot of other people out there do not get the privilege to just take off weeks of work because they're feeling depressed. And I'm so grateful I've been able to do that, but I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum because I understand how privileged I am, and I want to keep providing for everybody else because they've given me so much. So I'm not going to do the plugs at the end of this video because it's weird. It's just whatever. I just needed you guys to have this sort of update. I made it home safe from AC. I'll be okay in the future. Thank you all for sticking around. And I hope you're doing a lot better than I am. It's been Odin, and bye-bye. And as always, of course, I want to thank my patrons for last month. Timmy at the Timmy tier. Timmy's got his own tier, the donut tier, because Timmy is Timmy. I had the pleasure of hanging out with him during Anthrocon, and he's still the sweetest person on earth. So, Timmy, thank you for being there. And everybody at Diamond, Cody B, Conlo, Cosmo, Deku Panda, Brian B, Dosi, Lindsay, Slipfox Socks, Tars, and Pup Happy. Thank you all for your Diamond support last month. It's a huge amount of money to pledge to somebody, especially someone like me, and it still amazes me to this day that I have people like you consistently pledging this much to help me create. So seriously, thank you guys so much. And everybody at Platinum, Tatanka Winterheart, Jay Skulls, Kyoti Wild, Replay Zombie, Robert Deere, Emil Yaffa. Again, like I said about the last tier, it still amazes me that there's people even at this tier because it's just so much to give to one creator. Thank you guys so much for your support last month. And everybody at Gold, Silver, and other tiers, you really do make all this possible. And I can never, ever thank each and every one of you enough for what you do for me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.